y'all missed the DJ, huh? Did he already leave?
Yeah, he left a couple minutes ago.
I'm sorry about that.
But his info will be on our page.
Right. I was listening. I was listening to all the beats.
Oh, you heard his beats then?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are dope.
Sorry about that. I don't know what.
You gonna go live?
Yeah. I'm excited. Okay, hold on. Yeah, no, I need to tighten it. This is just so. Hold on. What's up, Shawty? Oh. Alright. Okay.
We got time.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, thanks a lot, Carla. Oh, man.
Now we're
Carla, you're the man. Look at that, man. I still got sticky fingers, but let's see. Thanks a lot, Carlo. You're the man. All right, I think we're good. Hanging out. All right, I hope you don't mind, man. And cool, right? That's not too close on you. Is that cool?
you want to raise it, yeah.
All right, cool. All right.
Don't you want to raise it a little bit?
Oh, I can.
Yeah, because it's going to cut off your face when you lean over.
Ah. Coming right back, y'all. He good at this. I'm not so good at the. I still don't know how to work this thing. I about to had months ago, but cool.
You got it.
Thank you. All right.
Is that thing already in here?
Yeah. Anytime you guys. Yeah, I mean, that's just for the phone. But I mean, you got cameras. You guys can definitely. I don't have one. So it's just for my phone. Cool.
So you got a channel going on there?
This is Facebook.
Oh, okay. That's your crowd?
This is my Facebook crowd. Yeah, this is the DJ Terra who actually worked here when I got here.
Okay.
Was pretty instrumental in bringing me in. I'll talk about that later. This is Mr. Carlo hanging out with us. So cool. I'm excited.
So wait, Dirk, are you saying this is the first time that you're going to be interviewed on a radio show?
Yeah.
Oh, yay! Music and medicine.
Cool. I mean, I kind of got a little story about that, so I'll save it.
Remember us when you make it big.
Oh no, yeah, and vice versa. We'll make a pact. Yeah, that's cool. Sounds good. It's exciting.
So you DJ?
Not like DJ Cash. No.
So what do you do exactly?
I'm more like journalism, writing, reporting stories, that type of thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Music too.
Yeah, from the National Association of Black Journalists.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah. Tell y'all about that.
So you got do you go to UF?
No, I go to Sanford.
You still going to school?
Yeah.
What are you going for?
Journalism.
Journalism.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to get into?
That's what I've always done, and then I just kind of fell in the radio, which is
right.
a big part of it.
Yeah.
So, cool. Most people, most of my counterparts, they're like, think they're gonna be like news broadcasters. things like that.
So it's
This
your,
is more fun.
it's your show here. What kind of show do you have here?
It's mostly reporting stories.
Oh.
A lot of local stories here, but then we do a lot of national stories too.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, so you're already doing it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, which is a big advantage.
Cool.
For a lot of people are way back to other students.
So are you in the music scene at all?
Then I played it, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm asking because we're going to interview you as a DJ. That's what we said.
What's up?
We're going to interview him as a DJ. He's not a DJ.
I like the music, but I can talk about whatever you want. Bro.
Wait, I still don't get what you're
He's
saying.
not a DJ.
Well, I guess technically, yeah, it's more like radio personality.
personality.
Okay.
Like radio
All right,
personality.
all
But
right.
he DJs on the air. So, like, not like around town. Like, 'cause that's part of the show. It's like
Okay.
he DJs music.
Okay.
So I guess
The one that plays
radio,
the dirty
radio
hip-hop on the show,
personality
we know
would
about.
be like
Right.
more accurate.
We were
term.
Okay, but I thought we were going to talk about,
Nice.
DJing. And so now the show can take a different turn.
drink that
Because it's
water?
more journalism.
Yeah,
And,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
what he
Thank you
did.
so much.
what's that?
Can I get that water too?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Okay.
So how would you like what? Okay, so like what would you say your title is, or like how would you like to be addressed? Like, well, jerk is
Well,
the name. That's fine, right? Or Daniel.
I guess like officially here, I'm a producer because actually I produced multiple shows. Not now, but at most of the time I was here. And producer, on that personality, and I've recently been named the music director. I don't know if you guys know.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
That's very new, maybe like not even a month. But
Music director.
yeah, it was just
Meaning what?
just scheduling the music every day.
Okay,
Yeah,
alright.
just telling them what to play.
Okay, so in a way you are
That's DJ.
facilitating music
Absolutely.
and making playlists.
Music
Oh, yeah.
facilitator.
Except for everybody's personal shows. I mean,
Right.
you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's like a creative
Sure.
output, like
Sure.
the music that you play.
Sure,
Because, I
sure.
mean, there's music I listen to on this show that I went home and downloaded. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? And that's your creativeness showing me what, you know what I mean? Because that even takes. So, yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
All right. Yeah, well, being more of in the journalism department, yeah, I really got a lot of questions. for
Cool.
you.
That's what it's all about. So, awesome. I'm excited. Bumped into you recently, right? At the store.
Yeah.
You stay on that side? I live right around the corner.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I like that side.
Let's see, where did I meet
was,
you?
was that, I always call them the kangaroo. It's Circle K now.
Yeah, the kangaroo state. Yeah, I live right there on
Kangaroo
34th.
fell.
I live right there on 34th.
Yeah, me. Right around the corner. So cool. The neighbors.
So yeah, I got some questions here that I asked the previous guy that worked for you too.
That sounds good to me. Mr. Shakur, what's going on with him? Is he busy or something?
He's in school. He's
Oh,
getting
okay.
his PhD, so he
Nice.
goes away sometimes. He goes.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we call him Dr. Shakur.
Dr. Shakur.
Dr. Guru, Ghetto Master.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations to him. Yeah. Hey, Nika, Bishop Kane, how you doing? Sorry, I wasn't even paying attention to these people. Mac Davis, how you doing over there? Blacko Savage, how you doing? It's my little cousin. He's a rapper, actually. And I was asking about music.
So you actually got quite a few people there.
Well, they come in and out, so I guess, once we get rolling.
Can you see everybody that watches?
Yeah, they come up with their different comments and things like that. Hello to Mrs. Lori and DJ Cashmere. Y'all know her from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks a lot, y'all. Appreciate y'all having me.
Well, you just cut my face, man.
Oh, man, my man. Come on. Get that perfection right there. Cool. That's all.
This is it.
What does that mean? There's a, looks like, I I know
Tell
it's
me
dead
how much
body.
you
Yeah. Okay.
more
I know
years
it's
than
gonna
the,
dead body too.
When it's been dead long, too long.
Okay.
I
I
Santa
just know
Fe.
I've heard the term
Oh,
like,
no,
oh,
Santa
rigor
Fe, I'll be
mortis
done,
is set in, and I don't know what it
Because,
means.
I actually got a bunch of credits already. So, when I do go, switch over
to U.S.
actually, I was going to go to Florida Agriculture and Mechanics up in Temple.
Oh, okay.
But the program that they have is only a year. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because a lot of the credits I have are transferred.
I see. Yeah.
Right.
And you still come out with a journalism degree?
Oh yeah, that's
Really?
Do you work at a newspaper anywhere? Or do you
No.
work outside of the station?
In a journalistic capacity, I've had some stories that were published, not published, but they used some of my footage a couple times, and some comments I used, but not. I don't have a job anywhere else outside of radio.
Okay, I'm gonna run the songs back, and then we're going to our first talking portion. Roy's gonna start it off.
Every time you get your name on it.
Yeah, man.
Good evening. You're listening to Music and Medicine live and direct on 90.1 FM The Beat. I'm DJ Cash Miracle, and we have a very exciting guest in the house with us tonight, a fellow WMBT radio personality, DJ, producer, Jerk Jerkins. So before we talk with him, I want to run back the songs we just heard. Right now, that's Cameo with Rigor Mortis. Before that, we had Shaka Khan with La Femme, and Denise Williams with Black Butterfly. And now, here's your wonderful host, Lori Oneness, with our guest, Jerk Jerkins.
Good evening, everybody. How are y'all doing tonight? So we're here in the studio. This is Lori Oneness with Music and Medicine Live and Direct. Shout out to the Ghetto Guru. He's taking a little break with us tonight, but he's here in spirit. And then we're here with Carlo Diaz and our DJ Cash Miracle, who's playing some fantastic music. So it's fun to be in the studio with Daniel Jerkins, one of our own WMBT personalities, and just found out he's the music director, so we have him to thank for all the amazing music that plays in between all the shows. So thank you for joining us tonight. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. It's an honor to be here. Thanks a lot for having me. I hope nobody doesn't like the music and wants to put an APB out on me and beat me up or something.
It's fantastic, as far as I know. When I listen to it, I really enjoy it.
Joking, yeah.
So, will you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, you know, how long you've lived in Gainesville, all that kind of stuff?
All right, I'm actually native of Palatra County. Grew up right here. A son of the city. Attended the public schools here, and went to college here, and still attend college here. So yeah, right here in Gainesville, Florida.
Awesome. And can you tell us about what led you to become a radio personality?
Oh, okay. It was actually very cool. The previous program director here, which is Mr. DJ Terra. He was actually program director here a few years ago, and he's actually a friend of mine. And he used to read a lot of my Facebook posts, which people would be arguing back and forth with different topics and things like that. So he actually he called me up here right to this room actually, and asked me to represent the station as far as at that time it was the media director, which was just pushing all the Facebook stories and things like that. So that's how my association, my first affiliation with the station, and that grew into different duties, other duties. I went from doing that to producing shows, to writing for shows, to writing scripts for commercials, things like that.
So you started out as you're a journalist.
Right.
And that awesome social media
Yeah.
led you here. It wasn't like you had a radio.
Right. And that's what's so awesome about it. I always loved radio. I used to spend hours listening to all kind of different radio, a lot of NPR. And I always had appreciation for it, but I never took a serious attempt at, being on radio. And even when I got here, I was very intrigued, actually curious about how the operations, like the behind the scenes, like who's telling these people what to say. I wanted to be that person, you know what I mean? Like who's playing the music. Like I had all those questions, and I remember I attended my first meeting here, and just in like the first 30 minutes, there were questions that were being answered in my head. I'm like, oh, I love this. I got to be doing this. You know what I mean? So, usually when you hear these stories about people and what they love to do, it's a lot of times it's these organic ways that you just out of your control. You just kind of fall into it. So, yeah, that's why I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, it sounds like a very serendipitous flow and alignment. Like you knew that you had these certain interests and passions, but you hadn't really pieced it all together as far as the avenue with which to fulfill that. And now it just sort of sounds like it came to you.
Right.
That's really beautiful. So what's your driving force behind it? Like what really inspires you about what you do and being on the air and sharing all these resources? You mentioned your Facebook posts, creating a lot of motion in the community. So now you get to do that on air all the time. So what is it about that that's really inspiring and fulfilling for you?
I really gotta give credit to Mr. Johnson here, the station owner, and Chrissy, and for putting me, giving me this opportunity. Because what I really appreciate the most here is they allow me to tell stories they give me a lot of creative license, you know what I mean, to tell stories that I think really need to be told in our communities. Yeah. And that I really appreciate the most, and I really, really take very seriously on, you know what I mean, just because it's like a duty, you know what I mean, a lot of times, and a responsibility to tell stories, you know what I mean, a lot of times that don't get told, you know what I mean, so that's the real driving force. Like that's what I really, really like really cherish the most. You know what I mean?
So it sounds like truth and the art of storytelling is really special for you. That's really beautiful. That's very important, and it's a responsibility, like you said. It's a privilege and also a very serious responsibility that we have being on the air. We have this voice that goes out into the community. We never know who's listening, but we know that there are people always listening. So it's really important to bring back the truth and shine light on what's really necessary for us to hear, right? The things that we're not really hearing on the radio or on the mainstream news like that.
Right. I mean, our media choices a lot of times are it's either very I guess like not divisive, but just one-sided, or either it's just fake news everywhere. It's nothing official. So like we try to really tell real stories, you know what I mean, but with credibility as well, you know what I mean, because that's just what we need here, you know what I mean. I mean we have to tell the stories of our own communities, you know what I mean.
Right, and being that we are on WMBT, which is an urban radio station, and it's a community radio station for the people, what do you think are some of the most important topics or areas of focus for this particular part of the Black community in Gainesville, especially?
Well, right now even there's a very, very hot election right now for District 1 with a lot of new candidates and old candidates, and there's a lot of tension, and not tension, but just a lot of dialogue going back and forth. And I think it's important for us to cover that. You know what I mean? Like we don't necessarily we've never taken a side or endorsed anybody. You know what I mean? But I think it's important. You know what I mean? In our community right now, even. I mean, with different issues that we have, to be the voice for people who maybe don't have the time to, attend a forum of candidates, because that's one thing about it too. My show is Monday through Friday, 2 to 6. So the people that are listening to me are people in barbershops, hair salons, car washes, You know what I mean? People who are, and I know this because that's who tells me. You know what I mean? So I really consider that a lot when there's things to be discussed because again, these are the people who are in our communities who need to know this information. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's a vast array of different issues. I mean, and we try to cover it all as much as possible. But I mean, I think like just to answer your question right now, that's the one thing that I'm really trying to make sure I cover very fairly and get the word out about it, which is the election. I think it's on March 12th coming up. So yeah, because that's a District 1. I mean, just to clarify, is the east side of town. You know what I mean? So that fight that they're having right now is very important because you know what I mean. It's going to tell what's going to happen in the future. So yeah, that's just one thing.
Right, focusing on educating the people. Beautiful. Right. So we're going to get back into more of what you do on your show and here in the community. But first we're going to get into some hip hop with Ice Cube. So stay tuned. You're listening to Music and Medicine live and direct.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, sorry for babbling, so just tell me to wrap it up. You know?
Oh no, we were perfectly in time. Have you had the candidates on here?
I haven't, and I've actually had them request a couple of them request. I have to be very careful. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, owns the building.
Exactly. Yeah. So and then Mr. Gostin is they're pretty close, you know, the owner. So I mean, you know, yeah, you know what I mean, and I mean, I don't have a horse in the race, you know, but I just want to be careful on how, because I definitely don't want to have somebody on and then don't have another person on to, you know.
Well, it should be understood that you're just a show in the radio station,
Absolutely.
not the radio station.
There you go. So you know, it is what it is. And I, but what I will be doing is just having different correspondence from each camp or something. You know what I mean? To kind of really get out, you know, the platforms, you know, messages of each candidate. And that's something I'll be doing within the next few weeks. You know, up until the upcoming election. So, yeah. Because it's the girl named Gail Johnson, her campaign manager, he contacted me for her to come on. And I actually had Miss Edwards, Tyler, I had her on before, but that was before she announced her candidacy, and she was doing an event, a community event out on the east side of town, and I had her on to talk about. And then the other one, Miss Simmons, I don't know her, I haven't spoke to her, but I'd like to, you know what I mean? I want them all to come up here, you know, I'd love for them to all, but I mean, you know, just depends. Yeah, I think Mr. Bud, though, I think he kind of hit that race. I mean, this is just me talking about. I think that race is kind of more. He's probably gonna win. You know what I mean? So, but that other race is the one where they're really.
Which one?
The at large. Yeah, that's the at large, and then the other one
is the one that's more.
Right, that's the one that's more like tension based. Like, I think like yeah.
And that is all black candidates.
Right, but Mr. Bud has all the he has all the endorsements from all the major black PACs around him. The Democratic Caucus, before he's pretty much everybody black. So I think it's more his track record. You know, so yeah, I think he pretty much ran away with it. But that other one is the one where it's really heated. You know what I mean? So I want to really be careful about it. You know.
Do you have a personal idea of who you think will be best?
I don't know a lot about Miss Simmons. But I heard a lot of good things about her. So I don't really have an opinion on her personally. But if I had to cast a vote, I'd probably be for Mr. Gostin. You know what I mean? Just because of his track record already. You know what I mean? Yeah, deep ties. And not just that, I mean, because a lot of the questions, that's what, you know, they're running against, which is what has he done? But then when you kind of look deeper into that, the opposition that he's faced, a lot of times if he was trying to do stuff, it was kind of out of his hands. You know what I mean? So, because he's on the board, but there's 5 people on the board. I mean, just one vote. So I just don't think it's not to be disrespectful. I just think that he's more seasoned. I mean, he's done this for a while. I mean, he actually comes from radio, but he's done it a while. You know, he's done it. You know what I mean?
That's important.
That's very important. That's just my personal opinion. I love that song.
I know, right?
I haven't heard that in so long.
I know. I just heard it. I was telling Lori we went to visit a friend, and it's actually Eric Sermon, but he sampled, whoever made the beat sampled that Marvin Gaye song.
Right.
Music, yeah. But yeah, this came on the Fuji's Pandora radio station.
Oh, okay, nice.
About this song. It's so
Nice.
good.
That's a good challenge for you. I don't have that.
Yeah, I didn't even.
It has to be a good channel.
It's even years since I listened to it, and it's way better now than when I used to listen to it back then. It's really good now.
Jadakiss remade this. But yeah, Eric Sermon, that was his comeback hit. One of them. On the Martin Lawrence soundtrack. The movie with Danny DeVito. I forgot what it was called. Yeah. I don't know, I was like 10th grade or something.
The battery.
Yeah, that one right here. That's what I'm looking for. I love it.
The 8 you said?
This is the 7 plus, but I love it. But the one thing I don't like is Verizon Wireless. Yeah, that's what it really is.
It's what?
So I don't know if it's Verizon Wireless or if it's a phone, but my service isn't so good.
Isn't good?
Yeah, I mean, Verizon was supposed to be better.
I have an iPhone 7 and Verizon. It's been okay.
Is it okay?
I guess it depends where you are in town.
Yeah.
The coverage.
My area, I don't know if it's the trees or what, but it's
I've
just,
been hearing Verizon's not as good as it used to be.
they used to be the best. I used to work for them. They used to be the best. That's why I switched to them. I was switched to them like 2 years ago. And now it's like, you know what I mean? I had Metro before then. And I gotta say, I had less problems with it. Yeah, but I am talking about, I'm not talking about voice. So voice is fine.
Right.
It's the internet. It's the internet.
Yeah, the internet
Which is, that's
is
all
real
we,
slow.
yeah, that's
It
all we,
can be real spotty.
that's all we
slow,
care
you're
about
right.
now.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. That live feed.
Yeah. But yeah.
I didn't know that was a Verizon thing, but that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
That's because maybe everybody has Verizon, so it's too odd.
And that's another thing too. Sometimes it's fine, but then sometimes, so I think that could be
Time of
it
day.
could be a traffic thing. Yeah, because certain times it's cool. Sometimes it's like, come on, I got one bar. Come on, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but I didn't know if it was the phone or the service. You know, but I do like iPhone because I had Android phones. I liked them, but I don't know. I just used to have. I had a lot of issues. Could be user error.
So do you have kids?
I do. Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do they live with you?
Yes. 2 boys, 2 girls. My son.
Man, you're too young.
Yeah, no, I started when I was young, man.
4 kids.
Yeah.
Do they ever get on the radio?
They come up here sometime. I don't think I had them speak on the radio, no.
How old are they?
13, 9, 8, 6. Yeah. My daughter, she has a lot of imagination. She does a little YouTube show.
I was looking forward to you bringing her to Goddess Visions. I didn't see
I'm
y'all.
sorry, no, we didn't make it. We did something else that night. I'm sorry.
That's all
Which I
good.
really did want to go. I think there was something going on. I think with my son, maybe a basketball game or something. But
Yeah, with 4 kids, you probably don't have a lot of evenings.
Right. But yeah, she does like a little show. To talks about a lot of kid activities.
So you got 4 kids and you're doing school.
Oh yeah, and work.
Is this a job for you? Or?
Yeah, this too, but I work. I'm a cook. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so have to.
Yeah, you would have to be if you have 4 kids.
Yeah.
Where do you cook?
I work at Fridays. Fridays. Yeah. I cook there. Yeah, I do that at night. I leave here. So, I mean, this is my passion.
You're tired.
Yeah, sleep odd hours. Yeah.
This restaurant work is hard.
Yeah. I've been doing this so long now. So
It's nothing.
yeah, it started off as just a job, and then you end up learning a lot
Are you the
about.
manager there too?
No. It's a cooking guy. Yeah.
You give the news.
I give
And
the
the
news.
kitchen.
Yeah. They have fun about that. Yeah, they talk about that. A lot of them listen. Yeah.
What do they have that's vegetarian?
A lot. A lot of different. We have vegan burgers and all. You know what I mean?
Really? They're vegan?
So,
Okay.
yeah, we have a whole vegan menu.
Vegan menu?
Yeah.
At TGIF?
Yeah. Well,
Did you see that article I posted?
I did. I was so impressed.
600%. Veganism has
really?
has gone up 600% in the last what?
I started the trend.
Yeah.
It was really
Last
probably
5 years or something. No, this year alone.
Wow.
Yeah,
This year alone.
actually, for real.
I need to get on that.
Yeah, so it's a thing. It's happening.
It's the best. It's what we were designed to be.
Yeah, I think so.
Plenty.
I think so, but don't tell me that at
Breakfast
breakfast time.
sausages.
We gotta go to TGIF one
That's
day.
what it is. The sausages.
The ham and the eggs, and I can't have breakfast without ham and eggs, man.
Eggs are bad. It's the yolk, huh? The whites are good.
But that's the good part.
That's
It's
the
really
Well, a
good
lot
part.
of people think it's the way their chickens are treated too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. Oh well.
Factory farming, all that stuff.
Right. No,
So
that's
Carlo, you starting out this next step, right?
that's
Alright, we're getting ready to go back on air.
nice. Good to see. I'm not the only one that's all my questions dive and all that.
Good evening. You're listening to Music and Medicine, live and direct on 90.1 FM The Beat. I'm DJ Cash Miracle, and in this last set we had Lupe Fiasco featuring Common and Jennifer Hudson with We Can Do It Now. Before that we had Eric Sermon with Music, and if you were listening closely to that, you heard Marvin Gaye, another fine example of sampling like we were talking about earlier. And to kick it off, we had Ice Cube with It Was a Good Day, because today really was a good day, and it still was a good day. So now let's get back to our wonderful conversations with Dirk Jerkins. We got him in the house, and Carlo Diaz.
Hello, Gainesville. We're Music and Medicine, and we're here with Daniel Jerkins, aka Jerk, from WMBT 90.1, and this time he's on the other side of the aisle here, answering questions.
Stand down the barrel.
How does it feel?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of weird a little bit, but it's fun. You know, it's excitingly weird. It's like when you're going up the roller coaster and you hear those clicks. You know what I mean?
You never know what we're gonna
Yeah,
have.
exactly. It's like what's gonna happen next?
No, we got your back covered, man.
Cool.
I really, I have a question here for you. You were talking about that a lot of the news media that we listen to is divisive.
Right.
And I had a question for you. What stories do you think need to be told to counteract that divisiveness?
Right. Well, I guess I don't want to say it's divisive, but a lot of it is like it's like catered to you. Like, what kind of news do you like? You know what I mean? Like, if you like this, we got this news for you. And what happens is
More like entertainment.
Right, it's like entertainment. Nobody's actually, we're not having any, there's nobody really going and getting those real opposing perspectives to create real dialogue. You know what I mean? But just to answer your question, I mean, some issues that we have, I mean, and what do you say? That goes towards divisiveness.
Well, I really want to know what stories do you think that need to go out there to counteract this other kind of media that's out there just to entertain us.
Well, I think one of the biggest issues that we have a lot of times is all right. I'll quote John Lennon, where he says insane people control the world for insane reasons, but then they say that I'm insane for just stating that. You know what I mean? And so what I'm saying, what I think he means by that is that, you know, a lot of stories that I'm not even stories, but just perspective. I can make a statement that's just a fact. You know what I mean? And me stating a fact sometimes can be looked at as radical. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that is a major obstacle when you're trying to be a journalist. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm just reporting here, bro. I'm not.
Right.
I don't have an agenda. You know what I mean? I'm not here to to fight. You know what I mean? I just want to tell the story, and the true story, the honest story. And that is probably the biggest obstacle, is wading away through the fake news screening. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not here for that. I'm here to just tell the story. You know what I mean? So that's one of the big things. Like, is truth having to defend just wanting to tell the truth. You know what I mean? That's probably like the biggest obstacle I face.
Right. So you think that the news that we're listening to out there are really designed to entertain different groups, and truth takes a backseat.
Right.
And when you tell the truth, then it becomes, all of a sudden, it becomes an issue that we must debate about, when in reality is just the news, it's the facts.
Right. And then a lot of times, just even with dialogue, there has to be facts sometimes are just to be established in order to create more dialogue. And a lot of times we trip up over just establishing basic facts. And I think that's one of the things that we got to work on, because, and that's all by design. You know, it's to keep us bickering.
Sure.
You know, and it's where we can't, because a lot of times, I mean, when you just sit and talk to somebody, no matter how they feel or what their views are, a lot of times you agree with a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know, there's a small percentage that you may disagree on, but we can focus on the stuff we agree on and have good conversation, or get some stuff done, or, you know, no matter what it is, how small or how big. So, you know, I mean, like I said, a lot of that is all by design, is to keep us confused and keep us divided and keep us not really accomplishing, you know, what we, put here to do.
So talking to you, who is a person, you know, that is out here in the radio station, and you also are making music playlists, and you giving out the news. Do you feel some sort of responsibility when you play music to sort of kind of bring it together and to try to facilitate people to get out of that box that they're in concerning their news, or the news that they're expecting to hear? Do you use music for that, or when you put the playlist together, do you have an agenda, so to speak?
Right. Well, yeah, I do. That's one of the things I learned that from Donnie Simpson, which is a old radio jockey, legendary guy, and which I was watching on his old interviews, and he was saying, like, that's one of the things that he always, whatever management or ownership he worked for, that was the one thing that he always was serious about, was or demanded in his contract, was that, you know, I control the music on my show. And the reason why that's important, because just the music that I play sometimes is artistic expression. And even on the flip side of that, when I first started here, Lil Uzi Vert, he had that song, what was it called? All My Friends Are Dead. I forgot the name of that song, but there's a chant where he says that all my friends are dead, but the song is actually about suicide awareness. So, this song that I used to play, oh man, it's a shame that I can't remember the name of that song, but it's his most popular song. So, anyway, this song that I used to play, because I knew that, I knew the real intent of the song was to spread suicide awareness. I played the song a lot, you know what I mean? Because it was a popular song, it was a chart topic song, and what was funny about that? What I learned about that was that about how I use music in the community is that even though the song may have had artistically, this guy wrote. That's what I appreciated about it. He sat down and wrote this song in a creative way to spread suicide awareness. And that's just me as Jerk, the hip hop fan. But I had to take out that hat and put on, music programming, community responsible artist hat, and I had to realize that song in particular, to a child or to a person that doesn't know his intent, could be negative. And it's just things like that. That was a lesson that I had to learn. You know what I mean? And XO Tour Life, perfect. Thank you, Miss Kashmir. That's a good producer right there. But yeah, XO Tour Life, that's the name of the song. But that particular song, and that's what I'm saying, like, because there was people who were like, man, you shouldn't play that song. You know what I mean? That's a bad song. He's saying he's glorifying blah, 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 blah. And I had to realize it's not. I may be right, you know what I mean, but that's not the point. The point is, I have a responsibility to spread positivity. In our station's moniker is the People's Station.
Right. So
and we have to take that serious. That was the first thing I learned when I got here. Like, that's our moniker, and we have to live by that. So I just to answer your question, I'm sorry I'm rambling a little bit, but that was just a lesson that I learned. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta do the right thing. Like Spike Lee made a movie about it.
Well, I'm very glad that you think that way, Daniel, because I think everybody has a responsibility,
right,
especially with our community. But to change it up a little bit now and make it lighter, you are currently going to Santa Fe Community College, you said?
Oh yeah.
For journalism?
Oh yeah.
And do you get involved there with anything like this?
Yeah.
Any journalism you're doing there?
Part of my brother's keeper had Javon up here as the director of that, so shout out to him. But yeah, it's an awesome program. And yeah, as much as I can, you know what I mean? Like, so I got a lot of other things going on, but yeah, Santa Fe as much as possible, man.
All right. Well, a shout out to all the Santa Fe students out there listening to us.
Yeah, let me say this real quick. And I'm a part of the National Association of Black Journalists, as you know. And what causes me to be a part of that is I'm a student member. You know what I mean? Because that's a very prestigious organization. With that, so shout out to Santa Fe, because that's the only way that I'm in there. You know what I mean? So that's why I really want to shout out Santa Fe for that.
What's the name of your show, Jerk?
The Jerk Jerkins Show, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6.
2 to 6. Don't miss it. And now we got to the end of our hour here, but we got DJ Cash Miracle with some more music for y'all. Enjoy it.
You want to my brother's keeper on our radio show sometimes.
I have his card over here.
You do?
Yeah, it was.
There's some cards here.
It was a white Santa Fe card. Yeah, there you are.
What's this?
Javon Brown.
Yeah.
Who is he?
He's the coordinator of my brother's keeper program. They do a lot of different things in the community to get more people in. Yeah, he left a lot of his cards.
What does my brother's keeper do?
They're really trying to get more black men in college. So they do a lot of different things in the community to promote that, and even on campus, like a lot of the students are out there at Santa Fe, who attend the program, they like give them free textbooks and things like
awesome.
that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Just to
We are a brother's keeper.
Right, pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, good.
Awesome, man. Are we done?
Yeah, we're pretty
The
much
talking
done.
portions are
Okay,
done.
no, I'm not going away. I just want to shut this off.
We got